The world is witnessing a seismic shift in global power dynamics, a transformation that is both profound and far-reaching. The rise of BRICS, an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, signifies this monumental change in the global landscape. This bloc of emerging economies is no longer content with being rule-takers, passively following the directives of established powers. They aspire to be rule-makers, actively shaping the policies and frameworks that govern international relations. BRICS represents a formidable challenge to the established global order, one that has been traditionally dominated by Western nations and their allies. However, BRICS is not a monolith. It is a coalition of nations with distinct cultures, political systems, and economic priorities. It's a diverse group with varied interests, yet they find common ground in their shared aspirations. Despite their differences, they are united by a common goal to reshape global governance in a way that reflects their growing influence and ambitions. They aim to give a stronger voice to developing nations, ensuring that their perspectives and needs are adequately represented on the world stage. Their growing economic clout gives them significant leverage in international negotiations and decision-making processes. BRICS is undeniably a force to be reckoned with, a coalition that is reshaping the contours of global power. The potential expansion of BRICS further amplifies its significance as more countries express interest in joining this influential group. The inclusion of new members, especially Saudi Arabia, would be a game-changer, adding new dimensions to the group's influence. It would signal a definitive shift towards a multipolar world, where power is more evenly distributed among various global players. The world watches with bated breath as the dynamics of international relations continue to evolve. The rise of BRICS is not just about economics, it's about geopolitics and the strategic realignments that come with it. It's about reshaping the global order, challenging the status quo, and creating a new paradigm for international cooperation. The old order is crumbling and a new one is taking shape, driven by the ambitions and capabilities of emerging powers. The future remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. BRICS is at the heart of this transformation, and its impact will be felt for generations to come. BRICS nations are the engines of global economic growth. These countries, comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have emerged as significant players on the world stage. Together, they account for a significant portion of global GDP and a large share of the world's population. Their combined economic power is a force to be reckoned with, influencing global markets and trends. Their economic goals are ambitious. They are not just looking at short-term gains, but are planning for long-term prosperity and stability. They aim to achieve sustainable development. This includes investing in renewable energy, modernizing urban infrastructure, and promoting sustainable agricultural practices. They seek to reduce poverty and inequality within their borders. By focusing on community development, education, and healthcare, they hope to uplift millions out of poverty. One of the key goals of BRICS is to reduce reliance on the US dollar. This is a strategic move to gain more financial independence and stability. They aim to promote the use of their own currencies in international trade. This shift could lead to more balanced and fair trade practices. This move has the potential to reshape the global financial system. It could lead to a more multipolar world where no single currency dominates. It could diminish the dominance of the US dollar. This would have far-reaching implications for global trade and finance. BRICS nations are also focused on boosting trade amongst themselves. By strengthening intra-BRICS trade, they can reduce external dependencies. They have established institutions like the New Development Bank. This bank is a cornerstone of their strategy to fund development projects. This bank provides funding for infrastructure and sustainable development projects. These projects are crucial for the long-term growth and stability of BRICS nations. This initiative aims to reduce their dependence on Western-dominated financial institutions. By creating their own financial networks, they can have more control over their economic futures. The economic aspirations of BRICS are intertwined with their geopolitical ambitions. They are not just economic entities, but also political forces. They seek to create a more equitable global economic order. This includes advocating for fairer trade practices and more inclusive economic policies. They want a system that benefits developing countries. By doing so, they aim to create a more balanced and just world economy. The success of BRICS will depend on their ability to translate their economic goals into concrete actions. The world is watching, and their progress will be closely monitored by both allies and competitors. Saudi Arabia finds itself at a strategic crossroads. The kingdom has long been a close ally of the United States. This relationship has been the cornerstone of Saudi foreign policy for decades. However, the relationship has become increasingly strained in recent years. The US's focus on energy independence has reduced its reliance on Saudi oil. This shift has economic implications for Saudi Arabia. It also raises questions about the future of the US-Saudi security umbrella. At the same time, Saudi Arabia is seeking to diversify its partnerships. It recognizes the shifting geopolitical landscape. The kingdom is keen to engage with rising powers like China. The invitation to join BRICS presents a unique opportunity. It allows Saudi Arabia to explore new alliances. Saudi Arabia's decision on BRICS membership carries immense weight. It has to carefully weigh the potential benefits against the risks. The decision will have profound implications for the kingdom's future. It will also send ripples across the global geopolitical landscape. Section 4. A Saudi Arabian tango with BRICS. Potential benefits and opportunities. Joining BRICS could offer several potential benefits for Saudi Arabia. One key advantage is economic diversification. BRICS membership would provide access to new markets. It would open doors for investments in key sectors like infrastructure, technology, and renewable energy. Another potential benefit is increased geopolitical leverage. BRICS membership would give Saudi Arabia a seat at the table of a powerful bloc. This platform could amplify the kingdom's voice in global affairs. It would reduce its reliance on traditional Western partners. Furthermore, joining BRICS aligns with Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. This ambitious plan aims to reduce the kingdom's dependence on oil. It seeks to diversify its economy. BRICS membership could provide a boost to these efforts. The potential benefits of joining BRICS are enticing for Saudi Arabia. However, the kingdom must carefully weigh these advantages against potential drawbacks. A calculated approach is crucial as Saudi Arabia navigates this complex geopolitical chessboard. Section 5. Navigating the BRICS Labyrinth Risks and Challenges for Saudi Arabia. While BRICS membership presents opportunities, it also comes with risks and challenges. One concern is the potential for friction within the bloc. BRICS is a diverse group with sometimes conflicting interests. Navigating these complexities will require deft diplomacy. Another challenge is the potential reaction of the United States. Washington might view Saudi Arabia's BRICS membership as a move away from its orbit. This perception could strain the long-standing relationship between the two countries. Furthermore, joining BRICS could expose Saudi Arabia to criticism from human rights groups. Some BRICS members have been criticized for their human rights records. This association could present a reputational risk for the kingdom. Saudi Arabia must carefully consider these risks before making a decision. A thorough assessment of the potential downsides is crucial. The kingdom must be prepared to navigate the complexities and challenges that come with BRICS membership. Section 6. A world transformed, global implications of Saudi Arabia's decision. Saudi Arabia's decision on BRICS membership has far-reaching global implications. If the kingdom joins the bloc, it would send a powerful signal. It would embolden other countries seeking to move away from the US-led order. It would accelerate the shift towards a multipolar world. Saudi Arabia's membership would significantly enhance BRICS's geopolitical weight. The bloc's economic and political clout would be magnified. This shift could lead to a more assertive BRICS on the global stage. Conversely, if Saudi Arabia chooses not to join BRICS, it would be a significant setback for the bloc. It would raise questions about BRICS's ability to attract new members. It would signal a degree of caution among countries considering a shift away from the US. The world is watching Saudi Arabia's decision with keen interest. The outcome will have profound consequences for global power dynamics. It will shape the contours of international relations for years to come. Section 7. The future unfolds. A multipolar world in the making. The potential expansion of BRICS, with or without Saudi Arabia, is a testament to a changing world. This expansion signifies a shift in global power structures where emerging economies are gaining more influence and challenging the traditional dominance of Western nations. The days of a unipolar world dominated by the West are fading. The influence of Western powers is waning as new players enter the global stage, bringing with them fresh perspectives and new strategies for international cooperation. A new era is dawning, one characterized by multipolarity. This era is marked by a more balanced distribution of power, where no single nation or group of nations holds absolute sway over global affairs. In this new world order, power is more diffuse. Countries from different regions are stepping up to play significant roles in shaping global policies and economic frameworks. Emerging economies are asserting themselves. Nations that were once considered peripheral are now central to discussions on global trade, climate change, and technological innovation. Traditional alliances are being tested. Long-standing partnerships are under strain as countries reassess their strategic interests and seek new alliances that better reflect the current geopolitical landscape. New partnerships are being forged. These new alliances are based on mutual interests and shared goals, aiming to create a more inclusive and cooperative international community. The rules of the game are being rewritten. As new players emerge, the established norms and agreements are being re-evaluated and updated to better suit the evolving global context. The rise of BRICS is both a symptom and a driver of this transformation. The bloc's increasing influence is reshaping economic and political landscapes, challenging the status quo. The bloc's success or failure will be a key indicator of whether a more equitable and multipolar world order can be achieved. The future remains uncertain, but the potential for a more balanced global power structure is evident. However, one thing is clear. We are witnessing a historic shift in global power dynamics. This shift is not just about economic power, but also about political influence and cultural exchange. The rise of BRICS and the potential realignment of countries like Saudi Arabia are clear signs of this transformation. These changes indicate a move towards a more interconnected and interdependent world. The world is on the cusp of a new era. This era promises to be one of greater collaboration and shared prosperity, where diverse voices contribute to global decision-making. The only question is what this new era will look like. Will it bring about a more just and equitable world, or will new challenges arise? Only time will tell. Let's break this down, shall we? It's a fascinating tale of economics and personal preferences. Imagine two Japanese consumers, Kenji and Hana. They live in the same city but have very different economic behaviors and impacts. Kenji is a cautious saver. He holds on to his yen tightly, wary of the uncertain future. Hana, on the other hand, is a spender. She believes that her expenditures will help lift the economy out of deflation. A strong yen is like a safety net for Kenji. It means his savings hold more value, providing a sense of security. However, his cautious nature means he hesitates to spend even when prices are favorable. He prefers to save for a rainy day. Hana, however, sees opportunity. The strong yen makes her local products more expensive for international buyers, but she believes in spending to stimulate the economy. Her spending supports local businesses and keeps the economic wheels turning. Now flip the script. Imagine the yen weakens. A weak yen makes Kenji even more cautious. His savings lose value and he becomes more reluctant to spend. Hana, meanwhile, is doing the economic victory dance. Her local products are now more competitive abroad. Her electronics are flying off the shelves internationally, boosting the Japanese economy. See the dilemma? It's a complex situation. It's a balancing act between cautious savers like Kenji and spenders like Hana. Both sides have their own needs and impacts. It's enough to give anyone a headache, right? But wait, there's more. The story of Kenji and Hana is just one example of the broader economic forces at play. Enter Prime Minister Ishiba, our economic daredevil for the day, ready to take on Japan's persistent economic challenges. His weapon of choice against Japan's economic woes, government spending and lots of it. That's right, folks. Ishiba's taking a page out of the Keynesian playbook, which advocates for increased government expenditures to stimulate demand. The logic is simple. Pump money into the economy, boost demand, and voila. Economic growth magically appears, or so the theory goes. But hold your horses, folks. It's not that straightforward. There are always risks and uncertainties involved. Japan has been battling deflation, a sustained decrease in the general price level of goods and services for decades, making it a tough nut to crack. It's like a black hole sucking the life out of the economy, creating a void that's hard to fill. People hold back on spending, expecting prices to fall even further, which only exacerbates the problem. Businesses delay investments, anticipating lower returns. It's a vicious cycle that feeds on itself. Ishiba believes that by increasing government spending, he can break this deflationary spiral and kickstart the economy, injecting much-needed vitality. But is it too risky? Will it be enough to turn the tide? These are the questions on everyone's mind. Only time will tell, my friends. The clock is ticking and the stakes are high. But one thing is for sure, this is one economic gamble that has everyone holding their breath, waiting to see if Ishiba's bold move will pay off. Now let's zoom out and see how Japan's economic policies stack up against the big players, the US, China and the European Central Bank. It's like an economic royal rumble and everyone's got their own strategy. The US under President, well, we'll get to that later, has been on a roller coaster ride of its own. Tax cuts, trade wars and a flirtation with protectionism have left many scratching their heads. China, the economic powerhouse, continues its relentless growth, albeit at a slightly slower pace. They're playing the long game, focusing on domestic consumption and technological innovation. Meanwhile, the ECB is grappling with its own set of challenges: sluggish growth, high unemployment, and the ever-present threat of a Eurozone crisis. So where does Japan fit into all of this? That's the million-dollar question, folks. Section 5, Easy Money, Global Hangover, the cheap money conundrum. One thing's for sure, we live in a world awash in cheap money. Central banks around the globe have been slashing interest rates and pumping trillions into the financial system. It's like a never-ending happy hour, but with potentially disastrous consequences. This era of easy money has inflated asset bubbles, fueled inequality, and encouraged risky borrowing. It's like giving a bunch of teenagers credit cards with no limit and hoping for the best. Japan, with its own ultra-loose monetary policy, is no stranger to this game. But as the saying goes, the party can't last forever. The question is, what happens when the music stops? Will we face a global economic hangover of epic proportions? Or can we find a way to wean ourselves off this cheap money addiction? Section 6, Gold Fever. Why is everyone buying shiny rocks? Remember gold, that shiny metal we used to use as money? Well, it's back, baby, and it's more popular than ever. But why are people suddenly so keen on hoarding this ancient relic? The answer, my friends, is simple: fear. Fear of economic uncertainty, fear of inflation, fear of the unknown. Gold is seen as a safe haven asset, a hedge against turbulent times. When currencies fluctuate wildly and central banks print money like it's going out of style, people flock to gold as a store of value. It's a tangible asset, a physical representation of wealth that can't be printed or manipulated by governments. So is this gold rush just a temporary blip, or is it a sign of deeper economic anxieties? Section 7, BRICS of gold emerging economies, emerging demand. Speaking of gold, let's talk about the BRICS economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These emerging markets are playing an increasingly important role in the global economy, and their appetite for gold is growing. China, in particular, has become a gold-buying behemoth. They see it as a way to diversify their reserves away from the US dollar and assert their growing economic might. This surge in demand from emerging economies is one of the key drivers behind the recent rise in gold prices. And as these economies continue to grow, their thirst for gold is only likely to increase. Get ready for a golden age, folks, because the BRICS are here to stay. Section 8, the Donald Trump returns, a Black Swan event. Now, for the elephant in the room, the Black Swan event that could upend the global economic order, the potential return of Donald Trump to the White House. Love him or hate him, there's no denying that Trump is a force of nature. His unpredictable policies and penchant for trade wars sent shockwaves through the global economy during his first term. A second Trump presidency could be a game changer for better or for worse. Would he double down on his protectionist policies? Would he launch a full-blown trade war with China? The uncertainty alone is enough to keep economists up at night. Section 9, Global Uncertainty. The future is hazy. Ask again later. So where does all of this leave us? In a word, uncertain. The global economy is facing a confluence of challenges: rising inflation, geopolitical tensions, climate change, and the lingering effects of the pandemic. Add to that the wild card of a potential Trump comeback, and you've got a recipe for volatility. The future is uncertain, my friends, but one thing is for sure: it's going to be an interesting ride. Section 10. Japan's economic crossroads: innovation or stagnation. Back to Japan. Amidst this global economic turmoil, Japan stands at a crossroads. Will it continue to muddle through with its current policies? Or will it embrace bold reforms and unleash its innovative potential? The country faces a demographic time bomb with a rapidly aging population and shrinking workforce. Its once vaunted technological prowess has been challenged by rivals like South Korea and China. To thrive in the 21st century, Japan needs to reinvent itself. It needs to embrace digitalization, foster entrepreneurship, and attract foreign investment. The choice is clear: innovate or stagnate. Section 11 conclusion. Buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy ride. So there you have it, folks. The global economy is a complex and ever-changing beast. From Japan's yen dilemma to the rise of gold, from the BRICS growing influence to the spectre of a Trump return, there's no shortage of factors to keep us on our toes. One thing's for sure: the future is uncertain, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Uncertainty breeds opportunity. And for those who are willing to embrace change and adapt to the new economic realities, the future is bright. So buckle up, my friends. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but hey, that's what makes it fun, right? That's our show for tonight, folks. See you next time on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.